We acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of this land. We acknowledge the waterways, the land, the sky, and all who inhabit this place.
We acknowledge the Indigenous ancestors. We acknowledge the Indigenous elders who have come before us.
And those who stand for the Indigenous communities today. We acknowledge the Indigenous Australians past and stand to better the future of their country.
Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander culture has existed in the land for around 50,000 years. The uniqueness of these cultures, the wisdom and knowledge embedded in them are things to be highly valued by all Australians.
We recognise the Koori people whose traditional lands and waters exist within the boundaries that today frame the state of Victoria. The city of Maribyrnong, which our school grounds lay on, was built largely on the traditional lands of the Maribyrnong clan of the Woi-wurrung language group, which is one of the 5 language groups of the Kulin Nation.
Today, Aboriginal people live in every suburb of the city of Maribyrnong, and many also come here to work and study. An estimated 10% of Victoria's Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander populations live in Melbourne's western region. While likely to be undercovered in official figures, Victoria's Aboriginal population is growing, and we thank them for the land we stand on and teach in.
ACARA acknowledges the unique place of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as the first Australians. This includes the special relationship Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have with land, sea, sky, waterways, the unique history and cultural diversity, and their ways of being, knowing, thinking and doing.
Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures cross-curriculum priority provides an opportunity for all students to engage with this important aspect of Australia's nationhood. Humanities help us understand others through the languages, histories and cultures. They foster social justice and equality and reveal how people have tried to make moral, spiritual and intellectual sense of the world.
Humanities teaches empathy to deal critically and logically with subjective, complex and imperfect information. It teaches us to weigh evidence skeptically and consider more than one side of every question. Humanities students build skills in writing, critical reading, and it encourages us to think creatively. They teach us to reason about being human and to ask questions about our world. Humanities develops informed and critical citizens, and without humanities, fairness could not flourish.
In 2014 to 15, about 62% of Indigenous students finished Year 12 or equivalent, compared to the 86% of non-Indigenous Australians. This is an improvement from previous years. The amount of 20 to 64-year-olds with or working towards post-school qualifications have also increased from 26% in 2002 to 40% in 2014 to 15.
Okay.
The employment to population rate for Indigenous 15 to 64-year-olds was around 48% in 2014-15, compared to 75% for non-Indigenous Australians. The difference in statistics can or may be the cause of new trauma that affect the Indigenous community, and this is a gap that needs to be fixed for our country, to better itself, especially for the traditional owners of our country. Several
researchers suggest that deeper underlying causes of educational disadvantages include intergenerational trauma, resulting from the ongoing and increasing effects of colonisation, loss of land, language, culture, the destruction of spiritual identity, forced removal of children, racism and discrimination. The increase and quality of Indigenous studies we provide at our school is in action to provide a better, safer and healthier environment for all our students, Indigenous and non-Indigenous. We encourage that all other schools consider the strength of this study as well. Australian Humanities also helps us understand our country's past heritage. The grounds we walk on today all tell different stories. For example, the Maribyrnong River Heritage Trail tells us the story of the post-contact early land use and development along the river. This is the land we film on today. The Geelong Road Avenue of Honour was a citizens' memorial funded by the community and established in 1947 for those who died in World Wars I and II. Maribyrnong is one of a kind in its combination of residential, industrial and natural heritage sites. We have many heritage buildings, industrials and archaeological sites, parks and other places. These heritage sites show the different phases of the city's development from Aboriginal times to early European settlement, and the later influence of manufacturing and defence industries. We are protecting what makes us unique. Our Heritage Studies plans protect important natural and cultural heritage places within the city for active use and appreciation of future generations.
The Australian curriculum sets consistent national standards to improve learning outcomes for all young Australians. ACARA acknowledges the gap in learning outcomes between Indigenous and Torres Strait Islander students and their non-Indigenous peers. It recognises the need for the Australian curriculum to provide every opportunity possible to close the gap. Indigenous and Torres Strait Islander students can see themselves, their identities and their cultures reflected in the curriculum of each of their learning areas. They can fully participate in the curriculum and can build their self-esteem that the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and culture cross-curriculum priority is designed for all students to engage in reconciliation, respect and recognition of the world's oldest continuous living cultures. The Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures priority provides opportunities for all students to deepen their knowledge of Australia by engaging with the world's oldest continuous living cultures. Through the Australian curriculum, students will understand that contemporary Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities are strong, resilient, rich and diverse.
The Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures priority uses an abstract basis to provide a setting for learning.
Students will understand that identities and cultures have been and are a source of strength and resilience for Indigenous people and Torres Strait Islander people against the historic and present day impacts of colonisation. The first key concept of the organising studies in our curriculum highlights the special connections to country and place by Indigenous and Torres Strait Islander people and celebrates the unique belief systems that connect people physically and spiritually to country and place.
The second concept examines the diversity of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people's culture through language, ways of life and experiences as expressed through historical, social and political lenses. It gives students the opportunities to gain a deeper understanding of Indigenous and Torres Strait Islander people's ways of being, knowing, thinking and doing.
The third concept addresses the diversity of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander societies. It studies kinship, structures and the significant contributions of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples on a local, national and global scale. For each cross-curriculum priority, a set of organising ideas reflects the essential knowledges, understanding and skills of the priority. The organising ideas are embedded into the concepts, descriptions and explanations of each learning areas as appropriate.
Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures are inducted in each learning area in ways that are consistent with its content and purpose. They also make it possible to link content across learning areas, which can lead to combined units of work. All Australian curriculum learning areas can contribute to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures plus curriculum priority. Taken collectively, Australian curriculum learning areas deepen students' knowledge and understanding of Australia and the first Australians. This knowledge and understanding enriches all students' ability to participate positively in the ongoing development of Australia.
In the Australian curriculum, English students begin to engage with the priority as they develop an awareness and appreciation of respect for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander literature. This includes storytelling, traditions and contemporary literatures. Students will learn to develop respectful, critical understandings of the social, historical and cultural context associated with different uses of language, features and text structures including images and visual language. In mathematics, students can explore connections between representations of numbers and patterns and how they relate to aspects of counting and relationships of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures. Students can investigate time, place, relationship and measurement concepts with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander contexts. Through the application and evaluation of statistics and data, students can deepen their understandings of lives and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. In science, students will have opportunities to learn Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples have long-standing scientific knowledge, traditions and development of knowledge about the world by observing, using all the senses of predictions and hypothesis testing. In language, the framework of Aboriginal languages and Torres Strait Islander languages provides a direct way of learning about the engaging of diverse Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities. Aboriginal language and Torres Strait Islander languages are there as an inseparable connection between the languages of land, sea, sky and waters. In art, students will explore traditional and contemporary artworks by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, and it provides an insight into the way and relationship between people, culture and country for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, and conveyed from their own perspective.
Children learn through hands-on experience with the support of facts. Our school encourages students to be involved in excursions to help the students visualize and relate to the experiences, traditions, and cultures and language of the Indigenous people. Excursions such as the Bunjalaka exhibition in the Melbourne Museum introduces and widens the child's knowledge about Indigenous cultures. Providing children with experience to emotionally feel, relate, witness the reality of the Indigenous Australians helps appeal to the emotional caring towards the traditional owners of the land. It also assists the Indigenous and non-Indigenous students to gain an interest in the topic presented.
Within Indigenous Australian studies, we allow students to ask any questions and voice their opinions to better their understandings of the culture. Involving the students in class discussions is vital due to the connections to the topic. As for the more they understand, the more interest they'll gain within the topic. Providing students with classroom activities to gain their knowledge of Indigenous areas, language and practices also contributes to the uniqueness and strength of the culture. Activities such as mapping of Indigenous Australian regions, using a star map to navigate around Australia appeal to the child's attentions towards the topic. Providing incursions where Indigenous Australians have the opportunities to tell their stories and stories of the past generation gives your child an open opportunity to see the Indigenous culture from a first-hand perspective, including Indigenous Australians' point of view that appeals to your child's empathy and greater well-being to create a better, more thriving Australia.
We encourage our students to think outside the box, think critically, ask questions, be able to reason and think creatively.
At Victoria University Primary School, we believe that it is important to continuously assess their knowledge and be able to project their success, and also provide help if the child is evidently showing the need of support within the subject. We provide private tutoring after school hours for students facing difficulties within the subject. As for some students strive further with one-on-one support. We also keep track of students' engagement, knowledge and achievements on Indigenous Torres Strait Islander knowledge. This involves the acknowledgement, assessment and marking of students' work following specific criteria, and continuously asking students what they learned, what they found interesting and what they found confusing, as well as exercising the topic at the end of the lesson and many more. It is through this structure that our school students have gained the confidence to understand and connect Indigenous culture to the land we live on today. And it is evident that our Indigenous and non-Indigenous students respond, relate and connect to the subjects given.
Teachers must follow protocols for teaching Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander culture. These are known as the Koori cross-curricular protocols. The protocols seek to protect the integrity of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultural expressions in a way in which all Australians can engage respectfully and feel connected to this identity. Meaningful learning about Koori and other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures, traditions and histories and experiences is enhanced by a consultation with Koori and other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities. No amount of study can substitute for the lived experiences of members of these communities.
On National Close the Gap Day, first organised in 2006, our school comes together to improve the health of Aboriginal people. Close the Gap Day is an opportunity for our school to raise awareness of Aboriginal health crisis. We have a range of activities, practices on the day, and we provide the students with 3 guest speakers from the local Indigenous communities to tell their ancestral stories to the whole school. On the 3rd of June 1992, Mabo Day was celebrated, and this is because the High Court ruled in favour of Eddie Korki Mabo and their people had occupied the mayor of the Torres Strait prior to the arrival of British. This historic decision effectively recognised the existence of native title rights and rejection of the concept of terra nullius, which claimed Australia was a land belonging to no one prior to the British occupation. The day also marked the end of National Reconciliation Day. During this week, the students in the 5th grade studied the movie Mabo and completed a movie report on what connections and feelings they had towards Mabo's journey.
We advise our teachers to know themselves, know their students and know what they teach.
Showing respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples can be demonstrated by seeking opinion from a wide range of elders and other community members. Respect refers to the way an individual treats others. Showing respect to others in many ways occurs, such as waiting to speak, not asking too many questions, ensuring that people are not made to feel uncomfortable or uneasy, and generally showing regard for ideas, beliefs and cultures of others. The ways in which two or more people or things are connected, or the state of being connected. The state of being connected by blood or marriage. The way in which two or more people or groups regard and behave towards each other.
Reconciliation refers to the process of building relationships between Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander and non-Indigenous people that enables us to work together to close the gap in equality and to achieve a shared sense of fairness and justice. In our school, we encourage Indigenous and humanities studies, and we hope to use it to better the future of Australia's residents and for the loss of identity of the Indigenous people. Okay, wait, don't turn it off. Ready? Don't turn it off. In our school, we encourage humanities and Indigenous studies, and we thank I don't know what to say.
Inna lillahi wa inna
Lillahi
ilaihi raji'un.
raji'un. Ready? Okay. In our school, we encourage humanities and Indigenous studies, and we hope to use it to build for the better of Australia.
Thank you for deciding to study humanities with us, and we encourage you to keep on going.
We wish all our students the best for the future, and we strive for the best. Hopefully, everything will be well by the end of this schooling year.